Hi everybody, it's Dennis, the Active Trend Trader. Are you one of the traders who has a difficult time finding great growth stocks to trade every weekend? Well, we've got the answer. Welcome to How to Make Money Trading Stocks and Options. We're going to cover three things. Our panel of expert traders has picked out three top shelf growth stocks that are setting up and ready potentially to trade next week. Number two, an analysis of the indexes showing which ones are strongest, which ones are weakest, and what the potential is for a move next week. And then we'll also cover another trading problem or issue that you may be having, and we'll provide an answer to that will help you, one, maximize your profits and minimize your losses. So let's get into today's session right now. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilson, the Active Trend Trader. I want to welcome everybody to today's session of How to Make Money Trading Stocks and Options, and plus some trading tips that we pick up from our distinguished panel of experienced traders. And we have Steve Ferreira here from Hawaii, Anil from Delaware. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And so we were just talking about this market is, continues to be a challenge. This market is definitely different than what we had going on when in 2020. 2020, it was almost like, you pick up, you basically throw a dart at the wall with your stock ticker numbers, and whatever it hit, you invest in that, you typically would make a profit. However, for our this year, been a little bit more challenging. Even Mark Minabini and so if you are struggling to just make a profit, one point of advice is take your profits quick and early. In other words, if you get up 7 to 10%, roll in a trailing stop on those to make sure you secure some of those profits, or go ahead and just take part of the position off the table. I want to highlight one thing to you. If you are not a member of, and this is a free membership of Market Tech Talk, that's my YouTube channel, where we basically put in our how to make money trading stocks every weekend, and I do some free training aspects there. And so if you're not a subscriber there, please basically hit the subscribe button and hit the bell, and you will be notified of when we put up new videos over there. So let's go ahead and get jumping into today's session. Patience, persistence, and profits. I'm going to add one more P to that going into next week, and that's planning. Every trade has to start with a plan. That way, that's the way you protect your profits. That's the way you protect your capital. And if you are starting your if you're starting your trading without a plan, you're just basically trying to be impulsive and compulsive, you're going to wind up losing. So if you want to maximize your profits, minimize your losses, Active Trend Trading is for you. It's focused on helping you trade your way to two of my just really heartfelt objectives for going forward with Active Trend Trading. Help you build your way, trade your way to wealth and financial freedom. Our objective today, we're going to do a real quick market review. We've got 3 stocks to take a look at, and we're coming at you today with the stocks from totally different approaches, and I love it. It basically. It is, I'm really liking it, what we're working together, and we'll each explain what we're looking at for our choices. And then we'll do some stock checkups if we have time to take a look at any setups that you may have. So let's get ready to rock and roll. If you don't know precisely what signals is yours and how you will size and manage your position, that's what I'm talking about, the planning. Peter Brandt says, stop trading, and he shouts that. Because if this is you, when you trade, you're giving your money to Steve, because Steve's got a plan. Or you're giving your money to Anil, because Anil's got a plan. Now, I would never, I would say, or you're giving your dollars to, traders like us who have a plan, who are patient and execute our plan to the maximum part of our ability. So remember, all materials are presented for training purposes. Traders should always pay per trade any method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. And so here's where we're sitting as of September. As you can see, we have, this is a really fairly, accurate P&L statement because, nothing ever goes up in a straight line. And this P&L reflects the challenges we've had. We basically, here's where we're sitting last week. We, broke through the 20% return for the year barrier. We maintained that this week. But as you can see, look what's happening. I'll go back and take a look at that. The Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Russell. What has it done? Well, look at that. It's fallen a little bit. So that is something we really want to be taking a look at. What was the difference for me personally with the active trend trading? It was learning how to position size a little bit better, but follow the same rules. And as I said, if you are a premium active trend trader, please go over and watch this week's training session on how to pyramid into trades and plan your exits. It is designed to help you basically grow your wealth and also let your winners run. So let's take a look at. Now, I was going to say something alarming, like and this would be just an opinion at this particular point, because guess what? This chart on the S&P is still heading up. This is a very strong chart. And the way we would look at doing this is we would look at expecting a pullback into the moving averages. Now, which of the strongest moving average that we're looking at is either the 34 or the 50, and then a rebound off of that to move higher. One of the reasons why I'm a little bit cautious with the current market environment is, as you can see, we've had 1, 2, 3, and we're currently in the 4th pullback. And as you can see, each one of these pullbacks has gotten a little bit weaker, not quite as much of a run. And as you can see here, we would expect price actions to basically be symmetric with that move. It is currently falling short. Now, there's a lot of inertia that's going on out there. What's going to happen to the economy with the president now mandating that, everybody and their dog has to get the vaccine shot? You either get the jab or you lose your job. Basically, what's going to happen with that? What kind of impact is that going to have on the economy? If people are, put out of work for that reason. That's one reason why I'm very thankful I work for my own business from home. What's going to happen with that? There is a significant raw material shortage that's taking place out there. There is a significant labor shortage because the government is still paying people to not work. And so companies are having a hard time finding people to work. What else is going on? The government is spending money that, because people aren't working, they're not basically paying into the tax, collecting taxes on it. That's going to continue to weigh things down. I could see, I'm not calling this right now, but I could see a significant correction and bear market happening that would at least equal the 2007, 2008 drop and or the drop in 2000. Now, we can agree or disagree, and again, that is an opinion on observations of things that are happening out there. Like I said, but with that said, we have to trade the chart in front of us and what's going on with the S&P, as you can see, negative divergence on a daily chart. Things are starting to turn over. If you use the market market forecast and or the TSI, just look to see what happened last time it turned over. Weekly chart, still looking strong, still heading up. But again, guys, we have been in a strong uptrend since when? All the way since March of 2020. And so, yeah, Barry, again, as far as a significant drop, it's kind of like one of those things, it when it happens. And what I look for is just clues. I mean, but we have to, like I said, right now, the market's in a real strong uptrend. And I'm going to trade I'm going to trade the pullbacks until the pullbacks stop working. So, and what would be a significant fall, drop? Well, if we correct 10%, that would help. But I even saw Janet Yellen, making a speech this past week, and she's concerned because we're approaching what are some of the limits on our credit or something like that. I don't know. I'm a technical guy, not a fundamental guy. So that's what I'm looking at with the S&P. One of the other things I have found is that the NASDAQ, the Qs, again, this is either a very strong pattern on the Qs in that it is driving just sideways and it is a horizontal flag. And so it's got some good support here. We could anticipate a pullback into the magic fib box, which would correspond with the uptrend line. Right now, for me, it is not a buy until I get a pullback into levels of support and or the moving averages catch up with it. Oftentimes what will happen when the market is digesting gains, it will drive sideways. And what happens is it catches up with the trend line or it catches up with the stronger moving averages. And then it ricochets and moves higher from there. And so that's what I've got. And again, I always go back and ask myself, where did it bounce from last time? And the areas it bounced from last time was it's been bouncing from approximately the 34 and not quite the 50, but I do have a good uptrend line going there. And so that's what I'm looking at. Again, I'm not buying. And again, one of the things I'm saying right now, folks, is I'm not shorting either. Okay, nothing on this chart is saying short me at this particular time. Now, if I get a really huge bearish engulfing pattern on the weekly chart, that would be a clue that, okay, I may want to start nibbling to the downside. Again, as I said, nibbling. Remember, on any topping kind of pattern, a topping is a process where typically bottoming turn out to be an event. They're very quick. You get these V bottoms or something like this. You get this huge downturn and then pop, there it goes. It goes back, takes it off and goes up. Like Lee Tanner says, just watch this. Right now, the corrections have been what he calls short and shallow. Not much of a pullback, 2, 3, 4 days, and then bingo, bango, we're on our way again. So that's what I've got with the Qs. I will look to trade if I'm trading the index ETFs, I will be looking to trade the Qs ahead of the other two. And at the same time, I may want to start nibbling a little bit on the Russell, but right now, Russell is doing what? Momentum is heading down. The momentum on the market forecast daily chart has crossed below the 80 line. Go back and look at what happened the last time it did that. Well, that was here, about there. Now, what happened? We went into a nice, fairly nice correction on the IWM. How far did it fall? Well, it fell about 9.5%, a little bit over 9%. Not even a 10% correction. but it did give us an opportunity to, if you were trying to get long, it reset everything. And let me tell you, on the momentum indicators like TSI and also the market forecast, really pay attention when it gets down into that area on the daily chart, because typically that is, down below in the what I'll call the lower reversal zone. Typically when that happens, that's when you get some of your healthiest and most reliable moves. What's going on the weekly chart? Now on the weekly chart, we had a hanging man last week, and now we have a bearish engulfing. So that could be telling us the Russell may need to do a little bit deeper correction. And so I'm watching this magic fib box, and that is from this low to this high. I get down to the 50% level and then rebound. Be looking for that. But right now, momentum is saying it's not time to buy. It's not time to buy. And this is the weakest of all three of the indexes. So gentlemen, that's what I've got. And
I like it. I agree. I think we're in a wall of worry. There's a lot to worry about. But you don't trade your opinions or your worries. You trade what the charts tell you.
Spot on. Anil?
I'm at the same place. Don't predict the market. I have spent last 7 years trying to refine my system. And if my system says buy, I buy. I don't worry about it too much. Put the stop loss, and whatever happens, happens.
Roger that. And that's a really, that's one of the things. If you've got a system with an edge that you're trading, and you just keep repeating that over and over again, you know that the edge will work out over time, and you're protecting your principal and your profits as you're moving forward. So I love it. So, okay, folks, let's take a look at the stock choices for today. Who went first last week? I think Steve did, so we'll go with Anil this week. Now, Anil, I have never heard of Zoom Info. Well, yeah, I have heard of Zoom Info. Is it related to Zoom?
No, I think it has no relation. It's a relatively new company, and honestly, I don't know much about what they're doing. It just showed up on my system.
Okay.
With excellent fundamentals and technicals, and so I said, all right, I would go with it.
Okay, now it's got a nice pattern. It's got a good volume. I mean, the volume is a little bit lower than average right now, but you got well over 1 million shares per day being traded. Your average is 3.8 million. So what's your entry on this puppy?
Entry is kind of right here, right now.
Okay. And your
stop would be about 4% stop loss.
Okay. Let's see how that corresponds with the, so there's where it's at right now. Oh, yeah. So 4 and 4.5%. You're giving it plenty of room to breathe to the upside. So, okay. That's awesome. We just, as you can see, we just had a 2-line cluster over here. I think a 1-line cluster, was that a 2? Close, which typically leads to a nice move up. What's your projected upside?
I'm expecting about 10 to 12%.
Okay. I like it. So 10 to 12% would take it from there up to about there. Excellent. Yeah, one of the other things I like to do on this when you get these setups like this is I like to go back to the last move down. No, is that what I want? No, I want to go to the last move up. Sorry about that. Last move up. Anticipate that we could get a symmetric type move. And that would put you up at 72.57. And then I check and see how does that correspond to my target? Well, my target, if I enter it right now, right there, about, didn't you say 10 to 12%?
Yeah.
There you go, 12.57%. Good pick. I like it. I like it. Now, Steve.
Okay.
Steve sends. What's that?
What's that?
I said, Steve sends me Apple this morning, right? And I'm about a minute and a half after I put Apple on my potential short list. So I yanking his chain a little bit, and I said, "What, you putting it? Send me Apple so I can short it." Tell me why Apple. Okay, what's the setup on Apple for you? What has to happen for it to be a buy?
Yeah. Okay. So the point is, it's not a trade today, but I think it'll be an interesting trade, perhaps by Tuesday or Wednesday next week.
Okay.
But anyway, if you look at a chart, a daily chart, if you put a trading range from about the 17th of July to about the 19th of July, it defines what Wyckoff calls a trading range. And we've moved through that trading range, we've broken out. And with today's action, which I did not expect, we've moved back into the trading range. And I think it's poised for a very strong bullish move. And typically the wider or the longer the trading range, the stronger the move when you come out of the trading range. That's a Wyckoff principle. And I like where it's positioned. And in that trading range currently, we are making a series of higher lows, which is by definition a trend line, an upside trend line.
Right.
I think we're really in a channel, and perhaps we're at the edge of the channel, on the upside channel. And that's why it's not a trade today. I need to see what it does next week. Do we hold this area and form a bottom, or do we trade lower? I don't know what it's going to do. I believe it's going to hold this area, but it certainly may not. So I'm going to let the stock tell me what it's going to do before I make an entry.
Right on. So did I draw in a trading range there fairly accurately?
Let's see. I don't see. Oh, the trading range. Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much there. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the other thing this could do, and one of the things, we want to keep an eye on, guys and gals, is one, we do have a two-line cluster. Now, in this momentum, you may not think the momentum means anything, but it means a heck of a lot. We've had a two-line cluster on the, now a three-line is more powerful, but a two-line is fairly powerful. What happens with a two-line? And I'll show you, basically, you can take this, I know Mark Longenbacher likes the clusters, because what it does is typically our rule of thumb is on a two-line cluster or a three-line cluster, we're waiting for a reversal 1 to 4 trading periods after you get the cluster. And sure enough, on this cluster here, turned around the next day. On this cluster here, what's gonna happen? Don't know.
Right. We don't know. Yeah.
Now, what can happen though in interpreting clusters? Occasionally, price action can actually move to a lower level.
Sure.
And that's okay, because basically, if it does do that, you can, that can work in your favor also, because then you get a nice reversal candlestick. So in reality, go ahead, Steve.
Okay, and I think my take on this is, I don't know what's going to happen. So it's not a trade today, but you watch for a reversal pattern to occur. If it does, it's a great location for a trade.
Yeah, and you almost can't go wrong trading Apple.
Yeah, it's basically a buy and hold for me.
Yeah.
Although I am in and out of it, but I'm in and out of it a lot. Yeah.
Is there a reason for today's thing? It's kind of unusual.
Not
drop.
Not that I can tell, other than the sellers got to be a feeding frenzy, and it got to be a lot larger than I had anticipated would happen at least in one
it
day.
looks kind of big for Apple.
It is. But the key is Monday. If we have no net follow through on Monday, if we don't trade significantly lower on Monday, we have an inside bar that occurs in a wide range candle. I think it's a very bullish development if that occurs. And then I'd be looking for a long side trade.
Well, let's see. Just looking at the news real quick.
Because if it's weak, we should be down big on Monday.
Yeah.
If it's truly weak.
So
we can't do that, then we're not weak. Yeah.
Yeah, the news on it's something about they appeal Epic Games ruling. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, Senate Democrats propose taxing stock buybacks. What it means for. So what the heck? I mean, it's been on a tear. I mean, it's been all new highs.
Yeah.
And so, and it's not the biggest reversal. You look back over here on a weekly chart. That was one of the most significant reversals. But again, and I'm just looking at this real quick. What one could do, and this is a freebie for everybody, is you can basically take that high there down to this low.
Right.
Any kind of a pullback into, again, if you're anticipating a pullback into the Fibonacci's,
yeah,
it would be in the mid, right there between there and approximately there. Let that come up and look at that top side of the Fibonacci is right at past support.
Yeah.
So it looks good, guys. And so let's see.
All we need is for it to perform now. The talk's been great. Let's see the action.
And so David says Apple can no longer require in-app purchases to go through Apple. Apple currently takes a significant cut. Okay. Had a court case go against them. Apple was stopped out. I was stopped out of Apple for a small profit. Steve, they're talking about entry prices. John, you put a whole bunch of ticker symbols. Was that just passing on for people to take a look at? Okay, thanks, John. And so, okay, my pick for today is STLT. Now we got a little bit into the analysis today of some of the stocks that we're looking at, guys, just because I think it gives some additional flavor to what we're looking at, and also gives some idea behind what we're thinking. And here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at STLD. When I first looked at this earlier in the day, I was going, okay, this is red hot. I'm moving back above the 20, but look what's happened. We get back up into a level of resistance because this is all negative over here. I am still working off of a hammer reversal signal. TSI crossed up again. I like it. It's got great ratings from IBD, but now my entry has changed. I am not closing above the 20, so I would not be buying this today. I will look to buy it off of the 50-day moving average or approximately these 1, 2, 3, lows, about 10 cents above the lows. So about the 65.14 level. Because as I said, my momentum appears to be turning over, but we'll have to check on that to make sure that in fact does happen completely into next week. But if I put in an order down here at about 65.20 or so, my stop loss will just be immediately below that 64.66 level. So 64.56. Really low risk trade entry. What do you guys think?
I like it. I think it's a good chart. It's a good location. Just needs to perform.
It just needs to perform. I agree wholeheartedly. And I want to thank everybody for punching in their information about like Apple. I want to thank Dave and Barry and John for sharing with the rest of the folks. Appreciate that. That concludes us for today. I'm going to go ahead and basically get our sign off going here. And remember that Autopilot is now combined into one service. It is basically going forward. If you are a subscriber if you are a future subscriber, you will get both Autopilot, leverage ETFs, and the top 5. So remember, Autopilot is a great way, and with some of the modifications we're making, some of the modifications we've made to this, it literally is getting to where it's going to be more Autopilot. Premium members will get what I'm calling the midweek course corrections that on how we modify the orders going forward. So, hey, remember, 2021 is about consistent and disciplined wealth building. Keep growing your A, very important. And I got a question for Stephen and Neil. Okay. Do you have I don't want to know how much, but do you have a set amount because all 3 of us have retired and now do trade for a living, closer to trading for a living, and or we have side hustles and all that kind of stuff. But do you guys still allocate a certain amount every week or every 2 weeks or every month that you save to put into your brokerage account?
Right now, I'm not personally in a position where I can add to my trading account, but I do trade it actively. I try to get at the most 60%. I trade only options,
right?
And I try to deploy 60% of my trading cash into active positions.
Okay.
As much as 60%, but as low as 30%, depending on the market.
Right.
But I'm always in the market. I'm always looking for trades. It's seldom that I'm not in the market, and it's seldom that I'm fully invested in the market. I'm usually somewhere in between. And right now, I'm about maybe just over 50% invested in the market. Yeah.
Okay. Anil?
No, I'm not putting anything new in the market. I mainly trade in stocks.
Okay.
But I also have a large portion of my portfolio on what I call a all-weather portfolio.
Roger that. Okay.
And that is research done by Anthony Robbins, interviewing 50 top financial people. And
got it. So back to my question. So you're not actually any of your current income, you're not saving a little bit of it to go into either your trading account or even your savings account. I mean, that's what I was kind of asking. It just, if you have been a saver in the past, do you continue to save a little bit? So, okay. Well, that's it.
Can I add something, Ken? I am looking to move some assets around, and I am trying to get a lot more, maybe $500,000 back into the market.
Roger that.
Now, is not exposed to the market now.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Hey guys, trade well, prosper. Remember, premium members will be up at the top of the hour with the final hour. Troy, to answer your question, yes, that was posted yesterday, or no, yeah, yesterday morning. You should have received the email on that. Please, if you did not, please check your junk email. And remember, 2021, same. Aloha, trade well, prosper. Start building now. It's never too late to start putting that cash aside. Do you know that wealth actually starts by learning how to save 10 cents out of every dollar? And then you can then start building your wealth. My perspective is as soon as you get $2,000, then open up a brokerage account and continue to save 10 cents out of every dollar on the other, but then learn how to start trading. So Okay, let's see what we got going here. And so this guy says, aloha, God bless. Steve, Anil, thanks for the discussion today. I think it was very beneficial, and hopefully people will make comments on the YouTube channel. And I thank you, everybody who participated in the chat. So aloha.
Thank you.
God bless you,
Dennis. You're very welcome. Thank you. Always
See
a
you guys.
pleasure. Bye-bye.
Okay.